Entities. Let's talk about them. I'm going to build on this conversation in future lives or even like conversations with others. But last night's Ascension Portal topic of multidimensionals, ETs, connecting with them, for me is a big part of humans' ascension. It's getting ourselves in the expanded perspective, the multidimensional, letting go of obsession with form and like concrete senses and stuff, and just being in an open, curious, high vibrating, loving space where we admit we really don't know what's going on and thereby make ourselves available to the quantum fields. Just throwing out the rule book, really. And what it brought the awareness of is there's cultural programming and fear and indoctrination that we sometimes grip to, and that rigidity vibrates in fear. And so when we're wanting to develop our intuition and our connections to higher realms, what is our motive? How open are we? And who are we communicating with? And how do we know? So as someone who is, I feel part of my dharma is to develop a relationship with my intuition and be guided that way. And it's been such a rewarding practice for me that I even wrote my book on living a heart-led, intuitively guided life. And it has brought me things I never thought were on my path, and they've been fruitful and supportive and just unlocked magic. But how do we know who we're communicating with? How do we know that the insights, the information, and the guidance are benevolent and loving? So this is a conversation that's always been relevant in the intuition development spectrum, but we need to start looking at our lifestyle. Looking at what you put your attention on consistently and regularly is going to show you what you're a vibrational match to. So we look at substance consumption that alters consciousness, alcohol, drugs, porn, getting into like obsessive behaviors. These vibrate low and make us a match for mischievous energies, for other interests to hijack us. And how do they do that? That sounds a little bit Hollywood, yeah? But they do that by suggestion, right? You can look at this. Guys, this is quantum. This is not made up information. This is measurable. So you can look at the psychological influences of the frequencies that you hang out in. So if you're working on developing your intuition, but you have a very dense life behavior pattern of constant recreational drug use and porn addiction and even adrenaline addiction and constantly responding and acting on behalf of your addictive impulses, that is a good sign that you're likely being influenced by the lower realms energies. That's one of the ways that you can know is your energy clean? And we need to get really clean on our energy, you guys. We need to really have a frequency that we can discern what's me, what's an outside influence, and does it feel expansive and loving when I think about it, or does it feel contractive and manipulative and controlling? And is there any kind of guilt or should, or am I being misled to sabotage my life, to make bad choices, to keep me in the adrenaline response of fear and sick and anxiety and us versus them? This is a bigger conversation than what I'm going to have right now, but I wanted to throw it out there because my understanding of energies, if you have a consistent, long pattern of negative self-talk, that negative self-talk creates a consciousness of its own and becomes an entity. So looking at what your thought patterns are is going to also tell you if you are being influenced by some type of current of frequency of manipulation of control that's going to distort how you interpret reality, because you have built this being, this entity that has a consciousness of its own. and is skewing your interpretation of reality. So one of the things I've noticed too is I used to get night terrors. Started when I was a kid. Not night terrors. What do you call those? Sleep paralysis, where you, like, there's an energy, a being sitting on your chest and you can't breathe and you can't scream. I think I've heard a lot of people had at least one experience of that. Once I started doing shadow work and addressing the wounded parts of myself that I'd been neglecting and like choosing to channel love to those areas, those stopped. So, just begs the question that recurring, repetitive, negative thought forms take on a life of their own, and we wonder why we keep having these challenges. Why do I keep doing this? Why does this keep coming to me? Because there's likely an energy that you've created with your thoughts, with your behaviors. And if we want to move on to a light-based path, we have to address this stuff and channel light energy to it. So I'll have more conversations on this in the future, on energies and entities and on what to do about it. But they are real. Hi, Meg. They are real, and our relationship with entities does not have to be one where we're forever controlled and oppressed. We are 1000% in control. We just need to know what to do about it. So message me directly if the conversation of entities and extraction and clearing and healing is relevant for you, and we can dive deeper. But stay tuned. There will be more comments